the presentation. So in the Power BI, basically the Power BI is a hardware, it's a software tool developed by Microsoft, and it's can be run on any system where you have an available RAM of 1.5 gig or more. That's recommended. 1 gig is the minimum. CPU need to be 1 gig 1 gigahertz or faster, and it should be running on 64-bit processor or 86-bit processor. The display should be 1400 into 900, or that's the minimum. And setting for text is 100% or less. So that's the recommended setup for running the Power BI desktop. We will be learning in Power BI desktop. Power BI has a few tools for learning. Power BI, you might be using Microsoft Excel, and if you are using Microsoft Excel 365 or the latest version of 2016 or above, you will be able to you might be aware of a feature called Power Pivot that is also similar to Power BI. Is the first version of Power BI. After that, the Power BI desktop was launched as a full-fledged service, and then there is a Power BI service as well, which is running on web-based, which is also used for the same purpose as Power BI, but it's primarily used for sharing the application and visualization and the work. But the development work or the most of the work is done in Power BI desktop. So, why Power BI is used? Power BI is used for business intelligence. So, basically, the business intelligence means that we are using the data to make sense of it, right? To create sense, to create intelligence out of it. Without analysis and without summarizing the information is just a bit of data, 0, 1 and 0, 1 in terms of computer language. But when we analyze the data and we create insights out of it, that's called the intelligence, and that is used for making the business decisions. If our sales of which of our store is generating the highest sale, whether our which of the employee is generating the highest sale, what is our top product, or these kind of decisions. Whenever we are looking at the data, the big data, right? Nowadays the data is getting more and more and more, with the more and more granular transactions being collected at the data entry point, which could be the transaction wise data for every second, and then the customer data is collected, their preferences are collected, uh, and so the data could be in millions of rows for every single day. Now, using the Excel or traditional methods of data analysis, the data business intelligence would become impossible. That's why the tools like Power BI or Tableau are created to make sense of the data easily. So even though you don't know the artificial intelligence or Python or other languages which are used for data analysis, usually you can still analyze the data by using the tools like Power BI, where you can summarize the data and visualize them to see what is inside the data. So there are four steps in the business intelligence. The first is to get the data. So where are you going to get the data from? You may be having a survey in a Google form, and we created the sheet for the Google, right? In the Google sheet. That's a very simple way of collecting the data. Or you might have can manually key in into the Excel form, or your ERP or your POS system or your CRM system might have generated a CSV file or a TXT file for the data, or for the accounting entries, or for the profit and loss statement, for the budget, or for any other text which you want to analyze. So you may get the data in many forms, or you may be accessing the data directly from the server. Most likely the SQL server or Opera server or Mongo server, or there are so many data servers nowadays, which are different type of data. SQL is most for a tabular data. uh, Mongo is on a object-oriented data, but there are many databases, right? So we are in business intelligence, we mostly use the tabular data, the SQL or similar. So you can get the data directly from the server. You can get data in the form of TXT files. You can get data from the websites where maybe Yahoo Finance is generating the stock data, right? So you can connect directly to the website and collect and get those data. So that the first step in business intelligence to collect the data which is available. You could collect different type of data from different sources and model them into one. The next stage is modeling. So what modeling does is we combine the data from all the sources, convert into the table formats, and link them up together, make the relationships, and then we create necessary columns, necessary measures, necessary formulas to be able to analyze the data further. Once we have done the modeling stage, then we create visualizations out of it. Visualizations can be in the form of charts, can be in the form of just a single number, can be in the form of the tables, or can be in the form of maps or any other things. So the third step is to create the visualization. And then after you have created the visualization, you need to share the data with the world, right? With your team members, with your seniors, or with your juniors, or with your colleagues. Without sharing, the business intelligence has no meaning. If you have gained the business intelligence, you need to share it. So that's the last part of business intelligence, to share the data. So now, what tools are useful in Power BI on all these states? So for getting the data, you can use Power BI service and Power BI desktop. Both of them works the same to collect the data into the Power BI scenario. But modeling the data, most of the time, Power BI desktop is used. Power BI service can also be used, which is cloud based. Now they have rolled out a feature for modeling the data, but it's not user friendly. It's not very easy, and with the large data, you can hang because it depends on the internet connection that you have in your system. Power BI desktop, you can work offline whenever you are working from your home, from your office, uh, and the internet connections are not stable enough, then the Power BI desktop works best. After that, the create for creating the visualization, you can use either of them, Power BI service or Power BI desktop. And when you want to share it with your team, you have two choices: Power BI service or Power BI mobile apps. There is a mobile app as well where you can um, generate the reports that you have done, the visualization you have done in Power BI desktop. You can publish them to Power BI service or to Power BI mobile apps. You need to purchase their pro license for being able to share the reports in Power BI service and Power BI mobile apps. And you need an account even for Power BI service. For just for checking, you still need an account on the powerbi.com, but that is for free. You can use that, or you can to test out. You can use the Power BI Pro for test, which is available for 60 days from the date of login. So if you log in now, you create an account, you get a 60 days trial for trying out the Power BI service for at the pro level, where you will be able to share your visualizations to the other peoples in within the organization. So, but for that you need a organization email. Power BI service does not work with the private emails. It always work only with the organization emails. So if you cannot use outlook.com, gmail.com, yahoo.com. You need to use your organization emails. Okay. So now let me go into the Power BI desktop. So we will just, I have downloaded the software already, and I am now opening up the Power BI.